Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain.
I'm Lynn.
And today we're going to be reviewing and showing you how to play Video Vortex. This was a game that Lynn was very excited to check out when we were at Gen Con and when they wound up giving us a review copy of it. So big thank you to Mondo Games for this review copy of Video Vortex. They gave it to us to be able to check out and play and film some content with. Now, before we get too into this, I do want to say I've got a ton of links in the description down below. There's a link to BoardGameCaptain.com, which is a great hub for all things Board Game Captain. There's also a link to my Teespring store if you'd like to get yourself some cool gamer gear, t-shirts, mugs, etc., and a link to my Patreon if you're in a position to and like to support the channel. All right, so let's get into Video Vortex. So Video Vortex is a game that was designed by Trevon. Is that Trevon? Trevon Haskell. I'm going to show a picture of this up on the screen in case I'm mispronouncing the names. And Mitch Rickman. The story is by Zach Carlson, and the illustration is by Boneface, which, by the way, I really like the artwork. So big thumbs up to Boneface. You rock. This game is retro-tastic. Now, Lynn had spotted some amazingly fun stuff on the back of here, so I'm going to let Lynn read all the fun stuff she has spotted. Yeah, this game is full of Easter eggs. We're going to reference some more of it in a minute, but go ahead and read all the fun stuff you had found.
It's just the what the game contains. It says a decent-sized game board. Should I just read the funny ones?
Yeah, go ahead.
All of it?
Read it all.
Okay. So it contains a decent-sized game board, 12 mutant character sheets, very fancy player boards, loads of cards, 216 to be exact, runtime dials, token suns, a bunch of those cool acrylic cubes, a first player marker, game instructions. Actually, instructions is missing the C, so it's game instructions that read like VCR instructions, the box you're holding, and this strip of paper you'll give to your cat.
And then on the back, in addition to pictures of, it says, be kind, rewind your mind. And then it says starring, and it has a list of all of the major characters that you can play as. The Mutant Gene, DEFCON Zero, Kid Gamma, Count Geiger, Saxon, Tobin, Captain Bonehead, Dahlia, Ridgemont.
Bonebeard. Captain Bonebeard.
Oh, excuse me, Captain Bonebeard, Dahlia, Ridgemont, Acid Override, Nimitz, and Hadley, which are all Easter egg references to various movies. For instance, Hadley, who is obsessed with sci-fi movies, is referenced to Hadley's Hope from Aliens, as well as Tobin being a reference to Tobin's Spirit Guide from Ghostbusters. So inside, let's go over some stuff you get here. You've got a rule book. I'll let you start pulling out some of the components here. The rule book has a really great story in the front about basically, this is like a retrofuturism nuclear apocalypse. You're a bunch of post-apocalyptic mutants that become obsessed with various movie genres, and you run a gladiatorial kind of tournament that you fight over for your different clans that are obsessed with various movie genres, and it's run by this mutant semi-immortal brain of a former video store worker from the video store Video Vortex in North Carolina, which, and this was amazing, this thing is so full of Easter eggs. So Lynn found, I think, was it on the back of the runtime counters? Which these are awesome, by the way, use them to keep track of your life. There's a thing where it says, property of Video Vortex, if found, please rewind and return to, and there's coordinates. Lynn looked up the coordinates, and there was a real video store at these coordinates called Video Vortex that still exists.
In North Carolina.
Which I have to assume, because in the storyline, there's one of their employees there named Josh, is the one who's like the semi-immortal brain who is running the tournament. I have to assume there's a guy there named Josh, which is amazing.
And there's pictures of the inside on Yelp, and it's all like neon, and it's got like crazy decor.
We need to visit this place. We have to visit this place. All right, so the boards are really awesome. These open up. You can put the cubes in it, and you can slide in the player boards in here, which are really cool. It comes with a bunch of these player boards. I love the way this board works. It's really awesome. So I'm going to yank out one of the player boards to show you guys. So, for instance, here is Captain Geiger. Count Geiger. On one side, you have all of his information, his storyline, and all the cards he starts with in his starting deck, because this is a deck building game. On the other side, you have his runtime, which is like his life total, and his two abilities, his lo-fi power and his hi-fi power. And you put him inside one of these televisions, so you can still see his picture and all of his abilities and such through the TV, and put the cubes there on the side. This is a really cool idea. It works very well in the game. I quite like those boards. We've got some cardboard punch-out tokens, which you're going to see us using when we're out there. Lots of cardboard punch-out tokens. There's some standard plastic cubes. These runtime counters for keeping track of your life total are really great. These are really awesome. I like these. There's enough cheat sheets for everybody that are double-sided and have... These are fantastic. These actually have everything you need on them. I do want to say one of my downsides in the production is I did feel like the rulebook itself, though it has lots of diagrams and lots of illustrations and such, I did feel like it's got a few ambiguities in here. There were a couple things that we didn't really figure out until we'd already played the game once and went back and looked at the rulebook and were like, oh, okay, I get it. One of our biggest things was the fact that each character has their own set of 3 employee picks cards. Is that what they're called? Are they? What are they?
Staff picks. Staff
picks. That's it. So it's because it says on each of them, it says take 3 staff pick cards. I thought it was just 3 random staff pick cards. I thought you shuffled it up, and then we noticed, oh, on the staff pick cards, they each have a name of which character they go to. But it like took us a game to figure that out. And it doesn't actually say it in here anywhere. So it was one thing, a little bit of an ambiguity, but it wasn't that bad because the cards themselves have the names of the characters on it, so we were able to figure that out. But that was my one gripe with the production. Otherwise, like all of this, the board here, which I mean is all like the faux wood paneling covered in tape and plastic labels from label makers, and then on the other side, on the back, which was totally unnecessary, you have like part of it looks like part of a television, and it says "Rewind Your Mind," and there's a sticker that says "I love toxic waste," which was on the shirt of one of the characters in Real Genius. He had an "I Heart Toxic Waste" shirt. I think it was Val Kilmer's character, and another one that says "My other car is a VCR," which is great. This thing is so full of Easter eggs and funny little things that you may not even notice the first time you play. In fact, I have a feeling there's some that we still haven't noticed and we will notice as we go. And also the cards, and I just want to draw attention to this. So the cards on the back look like the old boxes to VHS tapes. Remember blank VHS tapes like this? And then on the front, they're supposed to be movies. So there'll be a piece of equipment, and they'll show the equipment, but the title of it, they look like it's the title of a movie. So this one is Kiss Me Twice, which is a comedy movie. And then it has, the ability of what the actual card does. And a lot of them are like that. Again, full of amazing references to so many movies. Not all of which I've actually figured out yet. But yeah, before, we almost forgot. We didn't go over the player age and time. So it says players 2 to 4, which, I mean, this plays fine at every player count.
Yeah.
It kind of, because you do have life totals, but there's no player elimination. When you get down to the bottom of your life total, someone's just able to steal one of the tokens from you, and the first person to steal 3 tokens, one of each color, wins. So it gets longer at larger player counts, but it's not really more complicated. It's the exact same game. In fact, it's kind of interesting how at a 2-player game it becomes like a duel, but at a larger game it becomes kind of like a round robin of trying to attack each other and try to steal each other's kills, basically. What do you think of the ages 14 and up? I think it's a pretty good estimate from me. I feel like, because this is a more advanced kind of deck building game. It's got some more advanced concepts with the synced powers and also the all of the asymmetrical player powers and asymmetrical cards. And runtime is 60 minutes. This is where I disagree.
Oh.
I'm going to thoroughly disagree. I was kind of paying attention to our time to play each game, and I would say it's more like 45 to 60 minutes per player. So I'm gonna because 2 players goes around an hour and a half. 3 players can go as much as 2 hours. I think it's a little more than that. I think they're underestimating it to 60 minutes. They definitely should put a range in here. But if they'd have said 1 to 2 hours, I'd have been fine with that. What are your thoughts on that?
I guess I didn't realize it was that long?
Well, because you're having fun and it feels like it. But I was paying attention at the time. It
Okay.
feels like it goes quick because this is a very enjoyable game. Spoiler alert. But it definitely lasts longer than 60 minutes, especially if you're playing 3 or 4 players. All right, so we're gonna head over to the table. We're gonna show you how this game plays, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna rate it and review it. Okay, so here we are set up to play a 2-player game of Video Vortex. So in order to set up this game, you put the board out in the middle of the table and you place the signal splitters, the bargain bin, the head cleaner, and the broken tapes on their various spots. You shuffle up the deck and you deal 5 cards out into the market. You also place out all of the sun tiles available to be taken by the players during the sun phase. You each take a television, and the televisions have serial numbers on the backs that have A, B, C, and D on them, which will help you find out who goes first, or you can just pick who goes first randomly. Everybody then chooses a character. I will be playing Captain Bonebeard, who is a post-apocalyptic mutant who is obsessed with pirate movies and has some really interesting powers that I'll tell you about when they come up. And then who are you playing?
I'm playing Saxon. He is obsessed with horror movies.
Yes, and he also has some very interesting abilities. We each start with 2 energy and 1 charge, which we put on our boards. The character tells you which cards they start with. Everybody always starts with 1 signal splitter and 2 rotten tails, which are some basic starting cards. In addition to 3 specific staff pick cards that are unique to that character. They also then get 1 signal splitter and 3 bargain bin cards. You shuffle up your deck. You draw 4 cards for your starting hand. You place your runtime counter, which is basically like a life counter, over here, and you take your little cheat sheet, which gives you a quick reference to all the things you can do during your turn, as well as how to do the end phase, which is actually the thing that these cheat sheets are really awesome for. And Lynn, why don't you show your little first player token over there, since you're going to be going first. So there we go. So we're all set up. Now we're going to start with the first turn's sun phase, where each of us will choose one of the sun tokens, starting with Lynn because she is the first player.
I'm going to take this sun, which the ability is to gain $2.
That is a great early game sun. It is a fantastic ability early on because more money means you're going to be able to buy more things from the market. So very good. I'm going to take this greenish sun here, which says draw a card. This is a great sun early or late game, in my opinion. It's actually just good all around. So now that we have both chosen our suns, it is Lynn's turn to take the first turn. So Lynn, what are you doing?
First, I'm going to use my sun to gain $2.
Okay, very good.
And then I am going to spend an energy to play Arbor Day.
Okay. So what does Arbor Day do?
Arbor Day is a shielded long play. I can exhaust it to gain $1 and huff 1 head cleaner, which then I'm going to do.
So now you're up to $3 and you can huff a head cleaner. Now huffing a head cleaner puts the head cleaner straight into your discard pile, but the head cleaner is actually a pretty good card for when you do get to reshuffle it into your deck and get it. So actually that is a pretty cool ability.
And then I'm going to play a Rotten Tail to forward you 3.
Ouch. So now what happens with that is that my counter here has to go up 3. Now that is 3 towards my full count. My runtime count is 50. If I hit 50, Lynn knocks me out. But don't worry, there is no player elimination in this game. I come right back. It's just that she gets to steal one of my Be Kind Rewind tokens here from the top of my board.
And then for my $3, I'm going to buy this one for 2.
Okay, what is that one called?
This is Tuning In.
Okay.
And for my last $1, I'm going to buy this one that is called Once and Never Again. So I'm going to spend 1 energy to play Tuning In that I just bought. It is another shielded LP.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to exhaust it to add a bargain bin card to an opponent's discard.
Okay, great.
And then I'm going to play Once and Never Again, which will forward you 4.
Okay, that brings me up to 7.
And it's the synced ability because I just played a comedy and it itself is a comedy.
So the way synced works is some of these cards have synced abilities where if you, and you can play them at the same time to get both synced abilities. I'm assuming you were meaning to do that for those. So for the synced abilities, as long as you played another card or have a card out in play, like one of the LPs, which stay out in play, of the same genre, then they all get to use their synced abilities in addition to the normal abilities. So what are the synced abilities you have activated?
Forward 6.
Ouch, that brings me all the way up to 13.
And add a bargain bin card to that opponent's discard.
Okay.
And
could be worse, I suppose. It could be broken tapes.
And that's going to be it.
Now, while Lynn is discarding those cards, I would like to take a special note to let you know what it meant when she said that those two LPs, which are cards that stay in play, Lynn, point to those for me, are both shielded LPs. What that means is, if I were to do a forward ability, which forward in this game is damage, if I were to do a forward ability to Lynn, I have to do it to her, one of her shielded LPs first. They have to be destroyed before I can forward her runtime. So having two shielded LPs really helps to protect her life total. Lynn, how much life do each of those shielded LPs have?
This one has 6, and this one has 8.
Ouch. So that's going to be tough to get past. Now, Lynn will flip over her cheat sheet and run herself, as well as flipping over her sun token, and she's going to run herself all the things she has to do at the end of her round. So what do you do at the end of your round?
So first I discard all the cards in my hand. Then I discard all the
played cards,
the SPs that I played. Then you unexhaust your LPs. You flip your sun. You gain 1 additional energy and 1 additional charge. And
you get back all the energy you spent. Energy actually is only spent temporarily, whereas charge is fully spent. You have to slowly build it back up.
And then the last thing is draw 4 more cards.
Okay, so now that Lynn is all done, it is my turn, and Lynn has put herself in a really well-defended position here, which is going to make it a little bit tough for me. So let's see, what will I do? I'm going to play 2 bargain bin cards, which are each give me $1. And for said dollars, I'm going to buy another signal splitter. Now, signal splitters are a card that you have a stack of that you can buy, and early game are pretty good because they have the ability to either give you $2 or to forward someone 6. And right now, I need to get rid of a bunch of these LPs that Lynn has that are helping to defend her. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pay 2 energy, just keep it in front here to hold on to it. I'm going to play both of my signal splitters. I'm going to forward the one that needs 6 to wipe out, 6. And then I'm also going to play this 0 cost Rotten Tail, which forwards another 3. So what's going to happen is I'm going to do the 6 and the 3, that's 9 to knock out the 8. So I knocked out both cards. They just get discarded. She will get them back, but they're gone for a little bit. I'm going to activate my sun to draw a card and hopefully get something I can use. It is something I can use. It's another Rotten Tail. I'm going to immediately forward Lynn 3. This turn was mostly all about getting rid of her powerful LPs, but in addition, I did a little bit of damage, and and I also got to buy 1 new signal splitter. So that's going to be it for me. I discard all the cards I played. I had no cards left in my hand, so those are just all gone. Then I'm going to unexhaust and flip over my sun tile. I have no LPs that I managed to keep in play. So then what I will just do is I will gain back my spent energy, and I will gain 1 additional energy and 1 more charge. Charge, by the way, is used to pay for your abilities. Every character has 2 asymmetrical player powers that they can play during their turn, but they have to build up their charge to be able to do it. You have a low fi power and a high fi power. I'll explain them when we get to do some of those. And then I will draw my 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the end of my turn. Now, since everybody has gone, we're now going to go to the new sun phase. So the first thing we do during the sun phase is return our suns. During the sun phase, neither one of us can gain the sun that we had just had. The first player token is passed on. I am going to go first now in picking my new sun. I'm going to take the one that Lynn had, the gain $2 sun, because that's actually a pretty decent sun. And I'm going to place it in front of me.
I'm going to take the draw card one.
No, we just swapped. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with my first turn here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust my sun token to give myself $2. I'm going to play Red Tide Rising. Red Tide Rising says gain $1 and then draw a card and choose a genre. Red Tide Rising counts as that genre for this turn. So what that means is it will work for the synced abilities if I have other cards to play, which I don't have any yet, but I could purchase some that it might work for the synced abilities for. So let me just have a look out there. And you know what? I'm going to make this a Red Tide Rising is going to count as a comedy. So now I'm up to $3. And then I'm going to play To the Corners of the World, which does the same thing. It allows you to pick a genre, and it again gives me another dollar. I'm now up to $4. I get to draw a card, which, as my deck is run out, I'm going to reshuffle my discard pile back into being a draw deck again. And I'm going to have that one count as, let me see what else is out there. I'm going to have that one count as an action movie. So I have comedy and action in front of me now, and I'm up to $4. I'm going to play the bargain bin tape Noble Learn to Rodeo, which gives me another dollar, so I'm up to $5. I'm going to play the bargain bin tape Books on Video Moby Dick, and that is another dollar. I'm up to $6. Now, these two that I played cost an energy each. I forgot to pull those out. I'm just going to put those out in front there. And then I'm going to pay one more to play Mutiny of the Mutants, which Mutiny of the Mutants is an LP, so it stays in play. It is not a shielded LP, so it doesn't block me like the one which Lynn had out. But it can be attacked with Ford, and it has 6 life if it does. It has an ability that says exhaust, choose one, gain $1 or forward 3. Whenever you play a card from a genre you haven't played this turn, you get to unexhaust this card. So I probably played this in the wrong order because I could have played the staff picks, which counted as genres I hadn't done, and I could have exhausted and unexhausted this, but I messed it up. I'll do it better in the future. But I'm going to exhaust it for one more, so I have a total of $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7. I'm going to grab this $6 card here, which is really awesome. It is called Hooked on You, and it is a comedy. And I'm going to put that in my hand, and I'm going to flip one up. And then I'm going to buy a $1 card. I'm going to take this $1 for my one last dollar. I'm going to take this one last comedy called Dr. Doctor into my hand. I'm going to replace it. And then it was zero. It's a zero cost. It doesn't cost any energy, and I'm out of energy, so that's good. And I'm going to hit Lynn with a forward 4. And then because it is synced, it had a synced ability, I get to add a bargain bin card to that opponent's discard. So Lynn, add a bargain bin to your discard.
Which one is bargain bin?
So that is going to be it for my turn here. So now I'm going to run myself through the basic end turn, discarding all of my cards in my hand and the ones that I played. I keep out the one LP that I played. I'm going to be flipping this over. I'm going to get back all my energy. And I'm going to be getting one more charge and one more energy. And then I'm going to draw 4 cards, and it is Lynn's turn.
Okay, so I'm going to play a Rotten Tail and forward you 3.
Okay. Brings me up to 16.
Oh, I'm going to activate my son to draw a card.
Good call.
And then I'm going to gain $1.
I'll buy that for $1.
Gain another $1. So I'm at $2.
Mm-hmm. What are the names of those bargain bin cards that you play, by the way? I always like to hear the names of the cards.
Trishy, the recycling pup. Oh, Trashy. Trashy. Okay. So you want to ski?
That's why they're bargain bin tapes. They're crappy things that nobody wants to buy. That's the joke.
Oh.
See, you didn't realize that? They're supposed to be terrible.
For my $2, I'm going to buy this action card, Trail of Fortune. I'm going to spend 1 energy to play it. It is an LP. It is not shielded.
Okay.
But I can exhaust it to forward 3 and huff 1 head cleaner.
Oh, boy. Well, that's right up your alley because you're doing a lot of head cleaner huffing. You just brought me up to 19.
And then I'm going to play a signal splitter to forward you 6.
Brings me to 25.
And then I'm also going to play Blood in Nightmare Lake to forward you another 6.
Oh, 31. Wow.
And I have no more cards in my hand.
Did you want to do any of your abilities or no?
No.
Okay,
Go
saving up. All right, go ahead and run yourself through the end of your turn there.
I'm going to discard all my cards. Unexhaust. Flip. Get all my energy back. Gain one of each. And then 4 more cards.
Indeed. Okay, so now that we have both gone, we're going to go back to the new sun phase here. And it is Lynn's turn to pick first because we have passed the first player token back over to her.
I'm going to pick the you may place a card from your discard to the top of your deck.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll help me.
We will find
I
out.
have half a plan.
Okay, well that's fair.
Who knows if it'll work?
We'll find out. I'm going to gain this one that says spend 1 energy to gain 1 charge. I think I have a plan as well, and we also will see if it works.
Gonna pay an energy to play both Tuning In and Once and Never Again to get the synced abilities at the same time. Tuning In, I exhaust it to add a bargain bin card to an opponent's discard.
Okay, so I'm going to get a bargain bin card here.
And then Once and Never Again does a forward 4.
Okay, that brings me up to 35.
They are both comedies, so they are synced. One forwards you 6.
Ow! Well, that brings me up to 41.
And the other one adds another bargain bin card to your discard.
And you are filling my deck with these darn bargain bin cards. Okay, I need to start taking the one that lets me call cards.
I'm going to play a head cleaner. It says forward 3, draw a card, then eject this card.
Okay. I'm at 44 now.
Okay, and then I'm going to play a rotten tail that forwards 3.
47. 3 away from my runtime.
Okay, I'm going to try and do my plan.
Okay.
It's not working so far.
It seemed like it was working pretty well. You got 3 away from stealing one of my tokens.
I can totally steal one of your tokens.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to do my plan.
Okay. Well, let's
which would
see.
be more epic.
Okay. Epic is good.
So I'm going to do my lo-fi power.
Okay.
So it's 1, and I huff a head cleaner. And then I draw a card.
Okay.
And I rewind 3.
Oh, nice.
No.
Not what you needed?
Okay, I'm going to exhaust this to forward you 3 and huff a head cleaner.
All right, 47, 45, 9, 50. That brings me up to 50, which drops me back down to 0 on my counter, but Lynn gets to steal one of my Be Kind Rewind tokens of her choice. Now, this matters more in a game where you have more than 2 players. In a game with 2 players, because you have to steal all 3 of the Be Kind Rewind tokens to win, it doesn't really matter. So the red one fine with you?
Yep.
So we flip it over to the other side, and Lynn puts it in her trophy area. If she gets all 3, she will win the game. So this definitely means Lynn is ahead. She's being very vicious. So anything else?
Nope, that's it.
That's it for your turn? All right, go ahead and run yourself through the end of your turn there, and then I'm going to go. So the first thing I'm going to do on my turn is I'm going to activate my Hi-Fi power. Now, my Hi-Fi power costs 3 because it's a much more expensive power than that Lo-Fi power that Lynn just did. So for my Hi-Fi power, it costs 3. I'm going to get rid of all 3 of my charge to the bank, and it says all cards you play this turn are synced. If a card doesn't have a synced ability, it gains synced forward 2. So this is going to be really awesome. So the first thing I'm going to do after doing that is I'm going to exhaust my Mutiny of the Mutants card to choose to gain $1. So I'm going to gain $1. I have $1 out now. And then I'm going to play a Your Fax Machine and You, which gains me another $1. It gets $2, and it gets a forward 2. So I forward 2. But I can't do this to Lynn yet because she has a shielded LP, and it has how much life, Lynn?
8.
8. Okay, so that's my first 2 towards getting rid of it. I'm going to play another bargain bin. By the way, my bargain bins are Your Fax Machine and You and Ding Dong, Master the Xylophone. So now I'm up to $3 and forward 4. And then I'm going to play a Rotten Tail, which gets forward 3 plus forward 2 from the ability for my Hi-Fi power, which is enough forward to wipe out Lynn's shielded LP. So that is gone. Then I'm going to play a Signal Splitter to get me another $2. And does of course, again, because of my ability, gets a forward 2 on Lynn. So that's going to actually forward her runtime 2. But it also means I am now up to $5, which is not a huge amount, but it's not bad. So what I'm, and also, by the way, though, that one does cost me 1 energy to play. So I'm going to put 1 energy off. So I'm up to $5. I'm going to spend 1 energy along with my sun to give myself 1 charge back. And then I'm going to activate my lo-fi power, which costs 1, and it gives me $2. So now I'm up to $7. So I've got $7 I can spend. So the first $2 of my $7 knocking me back down to 5, I'm going to spend on this action movie called Harvest of Pain. Now, Harvest of Pain has a free with rental ability. The free with rental ability automatically happens when I purchase it. Now, it's free with rental abilities to draw a card, so I get to draw a card. And then I'm going to spend $1 on the this comedy movie, Funny Stuff, and add it to my hand. So that brings me down to $4. Followed by I'm going to spend $2 on the Faces of Madness and add it to my hand, which brings me down to $2 more. And then I'm going to spend $1 on this horror movie, Mind Grind. And $1 on a action movie, Head Kick 3. Now, I'm going to play Funny Stuff because it's free. It's 0 energy to play. And it does forward 4, so I'm going to do forward 4 to Lynn. And it has a synced ability. And remember, because I did my hi-fi power, all my stuff gets synced. And it says, add a bargain bin card to that opponent's discard pile. So take a bargain bin card, you. And then I've got 2 more energy to spend, and I'm going to spend it on whatever I have that has the best synced powers. So I'm going to spend 1 energy on that horror movie, Faces of Madness. It does forward 6 and draw a card. And then, so Lynn forward 6. And then my ability, its synced ability is I get to use my lo-fi power, which allows me to gain $2. So I have $2 more again, which is great. I'm then going to spend 1 more energy and I'm going to play Mind Grind, which says gain $2. So now I'm back up to $4. And it says I get to use my lo-fi power, which gains me another $2, which means now I'm up to $6. And I'm going to use it to buy this very expensive card, this $6 sci-fi movie, Inner Dimensions. I won't be able to afford to play it right now, but this is a great card to add to my deck. And this is becoming a very productive turn. And I am out of energy, but I have 1 more 0-cost card to play. It is a Rotten Tail, which of course does forward 3, but because of my ability, it does a total of forward 5 to Lynn. And that is how you play the game of Video Vortex. So as you can see, it's a deck building game, but it's a little bit more of an advanced deck building game with some resource management with the cubes. Building up your energy, you slowly get more and more energy each round to be able to play more and more cards. You also slowly build up your charge, and they let you do super powerful abilities. In addition, of course, there are lots of extra cool abilities on the cards, some of which are free with rental for when you buy the cards, and others are synced abilities that when you play them along with other cards, if you've gone for a very themed deck for certain themes, let you do extra abilities there as well. So now we're gonna head back over. We're gonna talk about how this game plays and how it feels, and we're gonna rate it and review it. Okay, welcome back. That was how you play a game of Video Vortex. So I want to start off by just saying this game is retrotastic. If you have nostalgia for like the 70s and 80s, maybe like late 70s through early 90s, if you have nostalgia for movies from that time period, this game is absolutely retrotastic. So many references, so many Easter eggs. I just really had to throw that out to start with because I love all of the nostalgia for video rental places and VHS, and yeah, I really got a kick out of that, and all the old movies, all the references to old movies. So, but before I get too carried away on, going gaga over this game, let's start with some negatives. Lynn, do you have a negative for Video Vortex?
There's a lot going on, and it's a little bit daunting the first time you play.
It is, especially because there were a few ambiguities in the rule book. I hope that our tutorial was able to help some of you realize how to play, because I do feel like once you get past those issues, the fact that there's a lot going on and it's a little intimidating, and especially since some of the bits in the rule book are not super clear or not super in depth, I do feel it's really awesome once you get into it. So I hope our tutorial was able to help you, but I agree. I thoroughly agree with your gripe there on that one. I had the same gripe about that it's a little tough to get started with, but I don't know if I have any other gripes at all. Like, I don't think I have any other negatives. Do you have any other negatives?
No.
Okay, so that's it. We share one gripe that we both agree on. All right, so let's get into some positives. Let's throw out a positive.
I like the different player powers.
The asymmetrical player powers in this are super varied. Every character has two powers, a low-fi power and a high-fi power, and then every character in this also gets their own set of 3 cards in their starting deck, which further differentiates them from every other character. And then also they all have their own run times, which is like their life total. So like the more powerful their abilities are, sometimes the run time might be smaller. So yeah, there's a lot of variety in characters, and I'm thoroughly agreeing with you on that. Really fantastic there. I already talked a little bit about how amazing the themes and the Easter eggs are in this. The total, just, the amount of thought that must have gone into getting all these Easter eggs and references, and plus the amazing production of the artwork, because I love the style of the artwork. This game looks and feels fantastic. So that is going to be my first big plus. What are your thoughts, by the way, on the look and feel?
Well, I was drawn to the neon pink.
I was going to say, you love the look of it, don't you? And the
Yeah.
feel. Like, you're a big fan of anything 80s retro, and there's a lot of 80s retro in here.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what about you? Any other positives you want to throw out?
I like the cubes, that you use the cubes for your special abilities, the charge cubes.
It's great that they have the recessed area in the board to hold on to them, too, so they don't go anywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is really, it's a really cool component. I really like those boards. I already talked a bit about the boards. I'm going to throw out, I'm a big fan. There's a couple of things this game does differently from other deck builders, other than just like the asymmetrical player powers, which we've talked about. But there's a couple other things that I think this game does super well, that is super interesting, different from other deck builders. And I want to throw one of them out right now, which is the specifically the synced abilities. So the synced abilities, if you specifically go to collect cards of a particular genre, horror, sci-fi, action, comedy, whatever it is, a lot of them that have abilities that say synced on them will get to do their synced abilities in addition if you're playing them on a turn when you already have an LP out on the table or play another SP card. They get to do their synced abilities, which makes them more powerful. So it gives it a extra reason to properly theme the deck that you were building. Mm-hmm. And I really like that a lot. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I tend to not really pay attention to that, though, and
you still do well.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right, so what's something else on the gameplay that you like?
I like that you get to choose a special ability via the suns every round.
Yes. The suns feel like a lighter version of the strategy cards from Twilight Imperium. Like, it's similar. You have them all out. There's a round where everybody grabs with the one they want, and then later during your actual turn, you get to use it. So it kind of feels like, because they're much lighter than the strategy cards in Twilight Imperium, but it's a similar feel to how it works. Some other stuff just to throw out there that I really like in this game. I like how when you purchase cards, they go into your hand and you can immediately use them. A lot of other deck builders, when you buy a card, it goes into your discard. You have to wait for the deck to be reshuffled before you can use it. That's really cool. And I also really like a lot of the cards that don't have synced abilities have free with purchase abilities, where when you buy it, it gives you an immediate ability that just happens. And that's really cool too. And also, just one last thing, I love all the chaining of effects you can do in this. There's because of the combination of slowly building up your energy so you can play more cards, and slowly stockpiling charge to do your lo-fi and hi-fi powers, plus the cards in your hand, plus the cards you're using your money to buy. You can do this crazy chaining of abilities where some abilities let you do more abilities. You would have probably seen that on my last turn where I did this crazy chaining of abilities and got to do a ton of stuff. There's sometimes where you can have this crazy turn where you do like a ludicrous amount of effects. And I love that about this game. I love getting to do that. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about with Video Vortex?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I just noticed something. Instead of VHS, it says MHS
Yeah, I saw that.
for Mondo for the M. I hadn't seen that before. You didn't point it out to me. Rewind your mind. So, all right. So, I guess we kind of covered all the things we wanted to talk about in regard to Video Vortex. We talked about all the amazing Easter eggs and how fun the game is. Plus, our one or two little negatives that we had with it. But obviously, we're far more positive than negative on this one. Do you want to go first or second on the rating?
I'll go first.
Okay. How many stars out of 10 are you going to give to Video Vortex from Mondo Games?
8.
That is a very high score. So,
High.
huh?
It's not that high.
I don't know why you underplay these things. 8 is a very high score. Anything 8 and above is very high. So that is
above average.
It's stop it. That's a very high score. You obviously really liked it. I could tell you were really liking it when we were playing it. You were really getting a kick out of Video Vortex. So let me ask you: is it more about the gameplay, because it does have some interesting, really cool gameplay mechanics in here, or is it more about the feel, the whole retro feel to it?
Both.
Both. So you just really get a kick out of both. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I also really get a kick out of both. I'm half a point in front of you. I'm going to go 8.5 stars out of 10. I love this game. This game is fantastic. Really enjoy it. I think actually this might, right now at least, might be my favorite deck builder in our collection right now. A lot of the other deck builders have kind of gone down over time with me because we've kind of played them out and they haven't been seeing table time. Whereas this one I could totally see myself pulling out on game nights in the near future. I really, really got a kick out of this. And definitely a lot of other of our friends that are around our age are going to get a kick out of the theme and the feel and the artwork of this. Because it is super, I said it before, but it is super retrotastic. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this review and tutorial of a game, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.